Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I will be reading from a popular subreddit, so let's jump into it. I woke up in a town full of zombies, and I was the only one alive. It was 6 a.m. a Saturday morning. I had just woken up when I heard what sounded like screams in the forest outside my window. I live deep in the woods in a small cabin that was off the grid. I get my water from a well, my power from solar panels, and my food from a big garden I have out back. My closest neighbor is about half a mile down the dirt road, so I rarely ever hear anything. At first, I assumed it was just some kids being stupid and letting off some fireworks. But then the noise continued for a full 5 minutes. I got up and went to my window to try and see what was going on. That's when I saw the most horrifying thing I think I'll ever see in my life. Across the road from me, in the distance, I could make out the shapes of people running through the trees, but they weren't normal people. They were stumbling around with their arms and legs twisted at unnatural angles. They looked like they were trying to crawl on all fours, and they were making these weird clicking noises. The worst part was that it looked like there were dozens of them, and they were heading straight for my cabin. I don't know what these things were, but whatever it wasn't human. I quickly dialed 911, but as I did, the creatures seemed to grow out of nowhere. What looked like a couple dozen of them were now mere feet away from my windows. They were banging on the glass and scratching at the door. I could hear their clicking noises getting louder and louder. Whatever this was, it sounded like they were hungry. As I ran to hide, I could hear the phone line disconnect. They had somehow jammed the signal. I grabbed an old baseball bat I used to use for chopping wood, and I stood by the window, ready to defend myself. As the sun rose, I could see their faces. They were horrifying. Their teeth were long and sharp, like the fangs of a snake. Their eyes were black and soulless, and their skin was a sickly gray color. These were not human. They were flesh-eating monsters. Whatever had happened, wherever this place was, it had turned every single person in it into a rabid animal, driven purely by its hunger for human flesh. They kept banging at the door and scratching at the windows, but they didn't seem to want to come inside. Maybe they hadn't realized I was in there yet. Or maybe they just wanted to toy with me before they tore me apart. I spent the whole day barricaded in my room, listening to them shamble around my house, trying the doors and windows, calling out to me. I was eventually able to make a makeshift weapon out of a stick and some nails, but that was about it. I had no way to defend myself if they broke in. When night fell, I managed to catch a few hours of sleep, but I was awoken to the sound of them scratching at the windows again. I tried to convince myself that they would eventually leave me alone, but I knew that wasn't true. Eventually, they were going to break in, and when they did, I wouldn't last more than a few seconds. Now, the truly terrifying thing about zombies is not the fact that they're flesh-eating monsters. It's the fact that they never stop. No matter how much damage you do to them, they keep coming. Shoot them, stab them, burn them, but they just keep coming. And after 3 days of hiding, that's exactly what happened. They broke down my door, and I ran for the hills. I kept running until I could no longer hear their moans behind me. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. All I know is that I couldn't stay there any longer. So that's the story. Wasn't that terrifying? I honestly can't even imagine what it would be like to be stuck in a situation like that. To wake up and hear people screaming outside, and then to look outside and see that they've turned into zombies. Oh, it's just so much. There's a lot going on there. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, if you want to hear more stories like this, I actually have a podcast. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.